Okay, we're about to launch into a talk about a topic that is itself very serious, but perhaps more important than the topic is the return of Ken Klippenstein to the Damage Report. Ken, welcome back to the show.
I feel like Gandalf the Grey now.
Exactly. He's wearing gray. Oh, see? He tumbled forever through a mountain battling Crystalliza all the way to the bottom, but now he's back. Look, and Ken, while we're always happy to have you on, and you can join us and just chit chat, there is a good reason that you're here. You do have a very recent scoop.
Yeah, I'm sorry I can't be better news, but it's kind of the nature of my stories. What I found was that CBP has been given under the Trump administration. CBP stands for Customs and Border Protection. The part of it that ordinary people would probably recognize would be Border Patrol. They've been given a new security designation that allows it to sort of enjoy greater secrecy, not respond to open records requests in certain conditions. Generally, it's making it less transparent. I would say, in short, the public now will know less about what Border Patrol is up to.
So, and I sort of worry that this sort of change, I think for a lot of regular people, it's not going to be immediately clear what it means or why it's being done. How is it being sold by the federal government? First of all, is it being sold in a public way, or like are they sort of like, is it sort of hidden that this is happening? And what is the justification for this change?
This was done completely secretly. The only reason I know about it is because someone who works for CBP leaked it to me, the memo, giving it this new security designation that I should point out puts it in the, what was the term they used in the memo? They said the frontline intelligence agencies like the FBI or DOD components. Now Border Patrol enjoys a lot of those same protections. What's incredible about it is what they cite as a pretext, and I say pretext because I don't know for sure if this is why they did it or if they're just saying this why they did it, was a Twitter troll who was posting already public information about their salaries and their official role within the organization, which was already legal to access. And so they're acting like this is some huge affront to the safety of their employees, and that's why they're adopting these new security secrecy measures.
Yeah, government salaries across the board are public information, aren't they?
Yep.
And would this change actually hide salary information for CBP officials?
Oh yeah, we can't get them anymore under the Freedom of Information Act or other public records. And not just that, I would say crucially, you also can't know who is doing what. You can't know. I do a lot of FOIA work, and when I'm trying to find out what sort of documents might be of interest to the public, it helps me a whole lot to know who has what role in an institution, who's responsible for what, because then you have an idea of what sorts of records they're going to be producing. And I would say generally, that's a good thing. Like cops wear, they have their name tag. So that's a measure of accountability. So you have an idea of who's, you can remember if something happens, say, oh, officer such and such did this. And I would say a step away from that, I should note, these aren't social security numbers or, personal home addresses or anything. This is just their sort of official information. So I don't see how that would protect them. And that's what experts told me as well. They don't see how this would provide any sort of protection. And
so people who've been following the channel for a while, we've had you on for a lot of your stories, and quite a few of them are around CBP or ICE, other immigration and those sorts of stories. So like looking forward, how do you think this might impact your ability to continue that sort of investigative reporting?
I think they won't like it because I'm going to be getting more leaks. Someone like me, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. You can give it to me under FOIA, or I'm going to find out about it from my sources inside the agency, so they can take their pick.
I like that little threat. So you're not feeling necessarily deterred. Like you're perfectly happy to go through FOIA requests and things like that. But I mean, this story itself is the product of a leak, and so it certainly seems like there is going to be a release valve for this sort of information going forward.
Absolutely. One thing I like to do after I get a leak is then FOIA that document and say, look, I know you have it. I just reported it. Give it to me. So there's there's a funny sort of symbiotic relationship between those two different things. But I would say more seriously, not everyone has sources. If you're an ordinary person that wants to know what's going on and you're not a reporter, why would you have sources? So that I think while it may not hurt me individually, I think it is going to hurt the society generally with respect to people being able to understand what the government's up to.
Yeah.
Kenny, sorry, it's JR. So maybe calm down my potential hair lighting on fire approach to this. So I'm hoping you say no. But are there any comparisons, at least this is just maybe your historical point of view, is there any connections this about past maybe dictatorships or kinds of governments that have a secret police force that kind of get started with having no more accountability, that this is comparable to, that now they can start doing things that people don't see happening and potentially harming people that don't have as much power without any kind of accountability? Have you seen this in any kind of other country or history?
I can think of a certain country that was very interested in immigration, but I will say that the Twitter account that they cited as their pretext for these new secrecy measures himself was just saying, I want to put out into the public this information. He tried to organize it in a way that was more accessible because remember it was already public. He said, I want to hold accountable them for putting children in cages, essentially.
Yeah.
And so to me, I have to imagine that factored into their consideration of why they were going to pursue this. So I do think there's a big political component to that, and that this isn't just simply law enforcement concerns as they may try to maintain.
Well, so great work as always. We wish you could be doing it for us, but it's great that you're out there, continuing the long streak of breaking great stories. Two quick questions though. One, now that we're going to need more leaks in this area, where can people reach you to do that sort of thing?
I love that you asked me that. I would install a Signal app, which is free, encrypts your messages, set it to disappearing, and text me at 202-510-1268. Again, that's 202-510-1268. And
the last is not really a question, it's more of a point. I just want you to be aware that there is sort of a popular storm brewing around a campaign to get one of your lavender sweaters sent to the studio to be hung in memoriam. So just know that that's out there. We want to retire your sweater. So Ken, as always, thank you so much for joining us. We love the work that you do.
Great to talk to you guys. Take care.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.